It was summer, and my friend Alex and I decided to go camping in a quiet forest. The trees were tall, and the air was filled with the scent of pine. During the day, it all seemed inviting, but as the sun set, things got weird. We set up our tent, got a fire going, and started sharing stories. As night fell, the atmosphere changed. The forest got noisy with crickets, and an owl hooted in the distance. We ignored the uneasy feeling and headed into the tent to sleep. Later, I woke up to a rustling sound outside. I woke Alex, and we saw a tall shadow in the distance among the trees. It made weird, unsettling sounds that sent shivers down our spines. It disappeared quickly, but it left us feeling watched. We tried to ignore it and go back to sleep, but then we heard a strange, mournful howl that echoed through the forest. The night got darker, and the forest felt eerie. Every little noise made us nervous. We even considered leaving, but the darkness outside scared us too much. The night got weirder. Our tent shook like something was pushing against it, and we heard a growl that made us panic. We opened the tent and saw the tall shadow still in the distance, making those creepy sounds. It felt like it was watching us. We ran through the forest, branches scratching us. The shadow followed us, always staying in the distance. We ran until we found a clearing, where we finally got a signal on our phones. We called for help, and a rescue team arrived with flashlights. By the time they got there, the tall shadow had disappeared. The team found nothing, leaving us confused and scared. Our camping trip turned into a creepy encounter with something we couldn't explain. We left the forest with a lesson. Some things are better left alone. The memory of that night stuck with us, a reminder that the line between reality and nightmares is thin in the unknown. As we walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that the shadows still lingered, watching us from afar. In the words of an old saying, "In the quiet of the woods, unseen eyes may follow," a reminder that not all shadows belong to the trees. The paranoia settled in, and even in the safety of our homes, we found ourselves glancing over our shoulders, wondering if the tall shadow still lurked in the corners of our reality. This is a story I try to forget. Ever since this day, I've had mental problems, and I'm afraid to go out alone now. I'll do my best to tell my story to the best of my abilities. It's just so hard to talk about it with you all. Anyways, here I go. It was a Friday night. I believe it was sometime in 2016 September. Anyway, I like to go camping with my dog, AJ. I like to go on regular occasions, mainly because I was friendless and because I found nature to be peaceful and different. I managed to find out about a new camping area. It wasn't too expensive and not too far. I drove there and loved the place immediately. Everything was good. Night came. Me and Aja were coming back from a walk on the dirt path. I started a fire, and the two of us were enjoying the sounds of nature at night. A few campers walked by. The people in the area were very nice. It was a local spot, but I decided to stay near the dirt path, away from others. Which was the worst mistake of my life. That night, while me and AJ were in the tent sleeping, I could hear footsteps outside. I looked to see a tall man or woman in a clown outfit hiding behind a nearby tree. My heart immediately dropped. They didn't notice me, so I quickly zipped the tent and grabbed my knife. "Who's out there?" I yelled. I could hear the fear in my voice. AJ began to growl. My heart pounded as I heard the clown let out a horrific laugh and blew its nose horn. I opened the tent, and the clown was posted up on the tree with its head tilted over in an awkward manner. Its neck was unusually long, big red shoes, and a sinister smile that I will never forget. It reached behind its back and pulled out a machete. I immediately pulled AJ by his collar and out of the tent and ran for it. I could hear the footsteps behind us getting closer and closer. AJ forced himself from my hand and jumped on the clown. AJ was a huge Rottweiler breed. AJ jumped on the clown and had him by the leg. The clown yelled in pain as I continued to run. I heard AJ whining in pain. I ran and ran. I tripped over a large rock. I heard something headed towards me. It was pitch black and all I could do was stay still on the ground and pray whatever it was couldn't see me. At first I thought it was AJ, but based off of how heavy the footsteps were, I knew it was a human or a large creature. I held my breath as I could see the white skin of the clown head towards me. I didn't move a muscle. Hell, I didn't even know if it could see me or not. Seconds felt like long minutes as the clown literally stood over me and was breathing hard. I prayed that it wasn't going to step on me or hear me. After some time, the clown had finally ran in the opposite direction. When I could hear the footsteps fade off in the distance, I got up and sprinted to the public area. I eventually saw lights in the distance and managed to reach the public area of the camping site. I desperately tried to explain what was going on and the whole situation, but it took some time because I was out of breath. I had to wait on the police to arrive, and when they did, we immediately went back. We had found AJ's body with stab wounds and the clown's shoe. He had gotten away. At least that is what the police decided. For all I knew, it had been one of the campers. However, people were saying it wasn't possible. Everyone that night was forced to have their belongings checked and would never allow anyone to dress up as a clown. We were in the middle of nowhere, and the only public place is the public area, of course. So, I asked myself, how did that person or thing end up in the forest? They had to have driven miles in the unknown wilderness and were watching the public area, right? It means they were watching me since I decided to go away from the public area. The only thing that doesn't sit right with me is the fact that the person or thing wandered around in the woods far from anywhere with a clown outfit. It's been hard, and I'll never forgive myself for leaving my only friend behind. Ever since then, I was always and will always fear clowns. I hate myself every day for being such a coward. I'm sorry. Thank you all for listening to my story. It felt a little good to tell it and get it out of my system. Next time you camp alone, know that you are never truly alone. I always try to tell people about my experience with a killer clown. Back then, it was some weird trend sickos used to do to lure kids. Always try to be around a crowd or bring someone with you when you want to explore the unknown. If you aren't careful or with anyone when going to the unknown will explore and find you. Again, thank you for listening to my story. Me and a friend named Jennifer decided to go camping for a week. We both had just graduated high school and always wanted to go camping together. We were broke teens and didn't want to pay to go to a state park or anything. We decided to camp in a random area of the woods. It was a cold night and with little rain. We were camping a few blocks from my neighborhood. We didn't want to go anywhere far. Anyways, there was a beaver dam in the area we were camping. We started a fire and sat in thick jackets to keep us warm. Now mind you, we were about 10 minutes away from anything. It was around 20 degrees or less that night. While sitting around the fire and talking, I could hear splashing coming from the little beaver dam. You hear that? I asked Jennifer. Jennifer looked over towards the dam and pointed something out. Is that someone swimming? She laughed. I gave her a confused look. I turned around to see a large and tall-looking shadow figure swimming with perfect form slowly across the lake. The beaver dam had 3 rivers beneath it. We both got a little laugh out of it, until reality of the situation started to sit in. It was way too cold for someone to go swimming in the middle of nowhere at night. I didn't want to seem scarred or anything, so I stood up and said, "Who are you?" The person stopped swimming and flipped in an upright position. Now, all we could see was a dark head sticking out of the almost frozen water. "What the hell?" I whispered. Jennifer was reaching for her flashlight, but before she could pull it out, the thing let out a terrifying sound that made both of us grab our things and get in the car. "What was that?" she asked. I ignored her and turned on my headlights. I drove towards the lake and pointed the lights directly at the thing. My heart dropped as even Even with the lights on the person, they were completely black with no facial features. It slowly submerged itself under the water. That was enough for me and Jennifer to hurry and get out of there. We left our tents and book bags. We returned in the morning to retrieve the remaining stuff. Nothing weird or strange happened while there. To this day, me and Jennifer have been trying to tell others. Nobody believes us. Hopefully you all can spread the word. There are some unknown and weird creatures we humans have yet to learn or hear about. The next time you decide to go swimming in a lake or the ocean, be mindful of the unknowns that swim beneath you. You can't see or hear them. After all, you are in their world.